Hello and welcome to another episode of AGT Time. I'm Cody Mims, and here with me to talk about week 5 of auditions is Cody Patterson.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing tonight?
What'd you think of this episode?
I've got some hot takes coming into this episode, but for this particular one, I think I want to give it about a B or a B minus. There's some things that wowed me, but there's also some things that I was not overly impressed with. What about you?
I would give this one a C, actually. I hate to be back down there again, but there were not any real standout acts to me this time, and there were some segments that I thought were a little much. So, yeah.
Well, I have got a hot take on the production value of this season. We're now in episode 5, auditions episode 5. And we've talked about how production has kind of done something different this season. It seems a little cleaner. It seems a little tighter. There's not as many bad acts. But one thing that's really started to bother me now that we're 5 episodes in, it didn't really bother me for the first few weeks. And I'll try to be brief on this. I'll try not to go too deep in on it. We can talk about as much as you want. But the editing is really starting to get to me on this. And I'm really starting to notice it when the judges are petitioning for an act to go through, but another judge can't stand that act. But then later on, we'll see a different judge petition, and then that same judge that petitioned a previous week all of a sudden can't stand and doesn't understand why they want an act to go through. So it's really starting to bother me now that we're seeing judges, and you can really tell it with judges, the outfits that they're wearing, it changes from act to act. And it's not feeling like it's very fluid or continuous anymore. In previous seasons, we've had them go to a particular city, and we know that everything on this episode was recorded in that city. Well, now we're getting it where all of the recordings are done at one location on different nights, but they're now mixing them all together into different shows. So, for instance, they may have recorded 4 shows in that location, but then they're piecing them together, and we may see a bit of show 1 in this episode as well as show 2 in the same episode, and 3 and 4 or whatever. And it's really starting to bother me the way that it's all edited and mixed together.
Yeah, I take your point. I mean, before, it definitely did feel more cohesive, and I prefer that for sure. But, this season, unless you're looking closely, I don't know that you would really notice it, but as we've seen in Dress Watch 2017, there are some times when it's not really clear the order of events, and if you actually want to know what order the judges are pulling their antics in, and why everyone's okay with one thing one time and not with another, I think it would help to be able to see that sort of arc or whatever. So yeah, it is disappointing that they are kind of we're not really sure what's going on. I guess it makes you kind of want the live shows.
Oh yes, I can't wait for the live shows, because we're definitely going to get things that are more cohesive when it comes to the live shows, and things are going to make much more sense when we get there. It's very possible that the very first act that we saw at the beginning of this season could have performed in the 3rd or 4th night that they were doing recordings.
Yeah, you're right. And yeah, live shows just feel good like that. They have a nice sort of vibe where, it's just everybody kind of being themselves, and you see what really happens. So yeah, that's interesting take. I guess we were both kind of disappointed by this episode, but let's get into exactly what went on. We opened with Henry Richardson, a pretty decent kid magician. I don't have anything to say on him, honestly. I would probably put him through, but yeah, what did you think?
I would put him through. He does have good showmanship. He didn't seem nervous, and he reminded me of a little bit of John Dornbos from last season.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but he seemed like he really had control of the situation. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would have put him through.
yeah, you're right. Points for showmanship. Um, Maxim Papazov. Uh, I think we're seeing a lot of bouncers lately. You know, this guy, I guess, stood on a bunch of chairs. It seems like something that we've been seeing pretty much every episode, which is not very typical of the show. Did you get that kind of vibe? Are you getting tired with these bouncers like I am?
No, I really like the balancers, especially if they put a little bit of danger into it. The higher they can go, the shakier they can make it look. You know, this guy did cake by the chairs instead of cake by the ocean. So, you know, I thought that was kind of fun to see.
Yeah, he didn't stand out to me like he could have. I think because we've seen a lot of this, but I think he was pretty good, and I suppose I would put him through.
I would put him through. It also added a little bit that he played to the crowd. He didn't just do his hand balancing, but he also played to the crowd very well.
Yeah, and I think one of the judges or something hinted that his wife would be much better than he was. I'm not sure how they knew that, but I think it kind of came true. I think his wife Maria was pretty extreme and pretty talented.
Yeah, she's. I guess I'm labeling her as a contortionist in this instance instead of an acrobat. But yeah, I think she was a little bit better. I think they were kind of just goofing around with him at first by telling him that she was probably better than he was. Just kind of have a little marriage rivalry there. So that's kind of fun. It's interesting. We've never actually seen spouses compete. We've seen siblings compete against each other, but not spouses. So this will be fun to watch.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, I liked her contortion too, and I would definitely put her through.
Oh yeah.
Then we saw the Masqueraders, who I think had a very admirable story, and I liked them a lot. I thought they had a very original sound, and they made me smile.
Well, it's so original that it was their original sound from the 50s. So that's, you know, it's great hearing singers sing old school songs that they actually sang back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, what a throwback to
Yeah.
before our time, I guess.
Oh, way before our time. Yeah.
Um, but I'm definitely looking forward to this. It sounds very happy. I liked all the harmonies and stuff. It was awesome.
Right. Now, I think in their original act back in the 60s, I think there were 4 or 5 of them, and there's only 3 of them now.
Oh, okay.
Just from the pictures that they showed in their package.
Yeah. That's a shame, I guess.
Yeah. It's a tough one there.
Yeah. Um, then we saw some dancers, sort of this trio of people who did not go through. Dante Diggs, Dancin' Dave, and Harmony Bentasimo. Is there anything you have to say about any of these guys?
No, nothing.
Okay, moving on.
Absolutely nothing.
Sarah Carson
Yeah.
and Hero. Uh, this was a long drawn out segment. They had sort of a pirate, I guess, theme going on in their dancing dog act, which helped a bit, but it was not amazing to me.
I liked it. I know we kind of chatted back and forth while we were watching this. I liked it, and you know we have the Pompeo family who also, you know, is a dog act. They have more dogs. I think they had 18 or 19 dogs, whereas Sarah just has Hero. I kind of liked what they did with the theme here, similarly how the Pompeo did the 50s theme with the poodle skirts a couple weeks ago. This is the one thing that really, I think it was at this point that I really started to get annoyed with production, because we had Simon just doing everything he can to try to get Howie and Mel B to change their votes. And for some reason, at this point, Howie and Mel B didn't get this act. And then it made me wonder, okay, did she come before or after the Pompeo family? So it was really bothering me.
Yeah, the judges are what upset me at this part. Simon was funny in his odd arguments for this act. I don't I don't really remember what he said, but he was really getting creative there. But I am so mad about this vote changing trend. It takes up so much time on the show, and the judges won't just vote how they actually feel, and it makes me so mad. It gives the audience more of that power they get drunk on sometimes, and I just thought this whole segment was an overcooked waste of time. Really brought down the show for me.
Yeah, the judges. I'm starting to come around with what you're saying on the judges changing their votes. They just seem so wishy washy on how they're voting this year. It's just so inconsistent on how they're voting and putting people through this season.
Yeah. So that's the worst part of this season for me. I think it's all, everything else is held pretty steady on quality level, but all of this, I'm not a fan.
I would put Sarah through just similarly like I did the Pompeo family, but I'm not sure she's going to get very far, but I would put her through.
Okay. Johnny Manuel. I think there's something to this guy singing. What do you think?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He was really good. I think he's going to be a better Whitney Houston singer than Angelica Hale, who wants to be the next Whitney Houston.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them face off. I would put this guy through. He's got something interesting. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
I like it too. I would put him through. I really like that he's already kind of had a somewhat career before, where he toured with NSYNC and many other rappers and R&B artists.
Yeah. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And what did you think of the Amazing Hoover?
I thought this was kind of funny that he plays like household appliances and whatnot. I kind of like that stuff.
Yeah, I thought the judges were being pretty harsh. I think this is a good useless skill. Um, I would probably not put him through to Vegas, but wasn't the worst act we've seen.
No, it's kind of funny, and it just means that he has a wide range of stuff that he can do. So he can just come out and play, kind of like what was the act many years ago that would just play like tubes and trash cans and
Recycled percussion.
yeah, it's similar to that where he can just kind of play any type of thing. So I kind of like this stuff.
Yeah. So would you put him through?
I would, yeah, I'd put
Okay.
him through.
Cool. Well, sadly, we won't be seeing him again. But I think we will see Circus Alphon again. They're sort of dancing on the floor, which I think we've seen people do things like this before, but not quite like this. What did you think?
I thought this was really weird. And I was really bothered by the delay between what they did on the floor and what was showing up on the screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really bothering me. And I think because of that, and they're really goofy, and it just kind of didn't make a lot of sense. I would not have put them through. It just seemed really weird to me.
Okay. I kind of liked it. It doesn't really bother me that there's a delay because I don't think, it makes the performance look much worse. I guess if you want to watch both of them, then it'd be better if it was more in sync. But yeah, I mean, they were basically doing everything like on the floor there, right? And then it was just another view to the audience. Or is that not true? Did they have digital aspects to this?
That's what was confusing me is I didn't know if it was them that was being displayed up there or if it was already pre-recorded and they were kind of reacting to it. That's why the delay was really bothering me, because it didn't feel like it was in sync and very fluid. It felt like they were off of whatever the screen was doing, which they were because of the delay.
Would you say it is the worst act we've seen?
No, it's not the worst act we've seen. It was just because of that. I think that's probably another issue with production, is they need to work on that syncing. And if they happen to get, did they get through?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they get on the live show, maybe that's something production will kind of work on, is that syncing between them and what's on the screen.
Yeah. So hopefully that improves. But I'm a fan of this. I think it was pretty cool and inventive. And I usually like when the judges are critical, but I can't even defend Simon for being critical because he's so annoying about it. He's like interrupting Mel and everything, just being kind of a baby about it. So yeah.
We did have a little feature earlier where those two were going at it. So
I guess I don't know. It did kind of make me think about their dynamic, and maybe if Howie or whoever is right that there's a little something between them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we will see them again despite Simon, and hopefully all their latency improves. And yeah, next we got Final Draft, who were kind of reaching some Childish Gambino pitches there. It was some nice high singing. What'd you think?
I compared the lead singer to a male Christina Aguilera.
Okay.
With all the type stuff.
Yeah.
And it just seemed way over the top for me. I did not like it. Final Draft is a really weird name for a singing group.
Yeah. It made me think
the Mac app.
Yeah, there's an app for writing screenplays called Final Draft, so I'm gonna think of that every time we see them.
It would have been a no for me. I mean, they were good, but it just the way over the top. And I think in this day and age, they probably should not be singing "It's a Man's World" anymore.
Yeah, it would be a no for me as well. They put on a good act, but I wasn't very captivated.
No.
But they did go through, and the background music for this moment was "Glory" by John Legend and Common, which seems like a little much because it's basically a song about civil rights, but that's AGT for you. So we will see them again, but after that we got Oscar and Gasper. This act...
We got the vision of Oscar and Gasper.
Yeah.
The vision of. They don't actually show up.
This was the most confusing act for me in this episode. So give me your thoughts on it.
I liked it. I liked the projection stuff. Is it digital mapping? Is that what they call it? Or visual mapping?
Yeah.
But there's an actual term for it. Where you project up on a 3D surface. And we see this a lot at like Disney World type stuff, and the White House has done this in the past, but they did it with Heidi.
Yeah. Which
I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, those faces they put on her look kind of creepy though.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. So this was a weird one. My main problem with this is that there is nothing live about this act. It's just a projection being put onto somebody who's not moving and you can't see. So I don't know why they bring it to this stage. I thought it was kind of off-putting, honestly, and I don't know, like kind of dumb. It didn't look as good as a lot of the other projection acts we have this season. And also, who are Oscar and Gasper? I don't know what that is about. It's not yeah. Anywhere in here. So this will be a no for me.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, but I also had the thought of, did they show everything they had right here in auditions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think they definitely need to take up more of the stage.
Yes, they need to take up more of the stage. And also, are those three guys, are they actually just a pseudonym for Oscar and Gaspar.
Yeah, maybe. I guess so.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the Oscar and Gaspar thing. I thought that was weird. I thought they could just use their regular names, but they've got this thing now where it's two mysterious guys that nobody ever sees.
Yeah. Did you ever see the contestant Mike Super?
I don't think so.
Okay. I guess that was in season 9 or 10 or something, but he had this whole sort of persona with a ghost who he was a magician, and Howard told him he needed to lose that whole idea and just do regular magic, so he did, and that kind of reminds me of this. But how would you vote on these guys?
I would put them through just to kind of see what they can do. I mean, it was a really cool trick, and I would put them through because of that. You're right; they don't actually have talent. It's just a digital thing put up on the screen. But I want to see more of it for some reason. Even though I think they've probably done everything that they can, because what else are they going to do? Display it on the audience? Well, then the audience can't really see what's going on. That was the other thing that was weird is Heidi had to judge on it, but she was part of it and couldn't really see what was going on.
Yeah, this was the one scenario in which I'm okay with asking the audience for a vote.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be a yes for me for some reason. I want to see more of it.
Let's just see where this goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Vinny Grasso, another of my least favorite moments this episode. A magician, kinda. This was such a slog for me. What'd you think?
Before we talk about him real quick, I've also noticed that AGT is using a lot of Harry Potter music when it comes to magicians.
Really? I'm not that familiar.
It may
with
not be
movies.
music. Well, it may not be. I've only seen a couple of them, but it may not be directly from the movies. But it's the music that sounds like it's from the movies. It's kind of that theme, but I just think that they're really overplaying it when it comes to magicians. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Just another beef with production in this episode. I liked Vinny. I thought it was really funny. He adds a little comedy to his magic act. It's more comedy than it is magic, but he kind of meshes the two. Once again, AGT is allowing a little more racy stuff, and according to Tyra and Howie, he had nothing on back there. So it's a little surprising that he wasn't wearing something, even though he was standing behind the little screen.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned by this, honestly. It seems like a pretty terrible thing to do to the volunteer, but Howie voted yes on it, so it went okay this time, I guess. But I thought this whole act was pretty awful.
I thought it was kind of funny. I don't think he's going to go far, but it was a little funny. I don't know. I would give him a yes.
Okay. Then we wrap things up with Carlos de Antonis. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I was kind of bored by this. What did you think?
Well, it's our opera singer of the season. We typically get one about every season, so he's the opera singer. I did not expect him to sing opera when he came out. I actually thought it was just going to be something. I mean, it was the end of the episode. I figured you figure it would be something good. I didn't. I actually thought it was going to be bad, but I was pleasantly surprised. He says he sings all kinds of music, so it may be interesting in each round if he sings different types of music. Maybe he does R&B, then he does country, and then he does a rock song, and if he truly does sing different types of music, that might be something different we haven't seen before.
I would be into that. I was kind of bored by this performance, though, so based on this, I think I would not have put him through.
Okay. Simon said something really interesting that caught my ear, and he said the only thing that matters on this show is the audience, and when they like something, it matters. Now, how many times has Simon ignored the audience?
Yeah. They have a pretty flimsy judges code.
Yeah, so it'd be a no for you, no opera singer this year so far.
Yeah.
I know you're typically down on the opera singers anyway.
Not many this year, I think. So hopefully you won't have to hear me complain about them too much. But
No,
um,
we have one more week.
yeah, and it's our first Golden Buzzer free episode. So next week we get the one from the lovely Heidi Klum, unless she just doesn't use it. But I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. Now, last year Sal was her golden buzzer. Is that
Mm-hmm.
right? So she knows how to pick the golden buzzers. He did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, and they had some chemistry together, so we'll see if something like that happens again. Um, well, you got anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next week with no episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long, long time. So send us any feedback you have while you stew on that over the break, and we shall get to it in 2 weeks. If you want to email us, you can send it to agtcast@gmail.com. Uh, we might change that in the future. I don't know. But tweet us at AGT Time. And also, please write us an iTunes review. Uh, yeah. Thanks, the guys, for doing that stuff if you do it. Aside from that, I guess have a great 4th of July. We'll be there in your hearts. And just peace out, everybody.
Peace out. America's got fireworks. Have a good holiday.